Master Your Mind, the 8 rules to destroy negative thinking and build unshakable positivity. Part 1, Introduction, the invisible war inside your mind. Every single day, an invisible war is happening inside your head. You wake up in the morning with dreams, goals, and energy, but within seconds, a quiet voice starts whispering, "You're not good enough. You'll fail again. Why even bother?" It's not the world that breaks most people, it's their own mind. That voice, that's the real enemy. It's not your boss, your parents, or your past. It's not luck or fate or the economy. The biggest battles you'll ever face are the ones between your ears, the thoughts you feed, the beliefs you repeat, and the emotions you allow to control you. And if you don't learn to master that inner voice, it will master you. Because your mind is like a garden. If you don't plant flowers, weeds will grow by themselves. If you don't train your thoughts, fear and doubt will take over. If you don't take charge, negativity becomes your default state, and suddenly you start believing lies about yourself. You start living smaller than you could. You stop trying. You stop dreaming. You just survive. But life was never meant to be lived in survival mode. You were born to create, to build, to shine, and to inspire. You were born with potential, and the only thing standing between where you are and where you could be is the way you think. This guide is about reclaiming that power. It's about learning how to master your mind so deeply that no storm can shake your peace, no failure can destroy your belief, and no pain can turn your heart bitter. There are 8 rules to do that, 8 life-changing principles that will help you destroy negative thinking and build unstoppable mental strength. Let's begin. Rule 1. Recognize the enemy. You can't defeat what you don't understand. And the first step to mastering your mind is to recognize your enemy. Negative thinking doesn't always shout. Sometimes it whispers. Sometimes it hides behind logic or realism or even humor. It says things like, "I'm just being realistic. I don't want to get my hopes up. That's not possible for someone like me." But look closer. Beneath those reasonable thoughts lies the same poison: fear, doubt, and self-sabotage. Most people never realize that these thoughts are not facts, they're habits. They're old recordings your brain plays on repeat, built from years of criticism, rejection, and comparison. You didn't choose them consciously, but now you're responsible for changing them consciously. Earthies the mind as a mirror. Your mind reflects whatever you focus on. If you focus on fear, you'll see more reasons to be afraid. If you focus on gratitude, you'll see more to appreciate. If you focus on progress, you'll notice growth. This is why awareness is power. Once you see the pattern, it starts losing control over you. Accusing the awareness exercise. Here's a simple but life-changing habit. For 1 week, carry a small notebook or use your phone's Notes app. Every time you catch yourself thinking something negative, write it down. Don't judge it, just observe it. At the end of each day, read your list. You'll be shocked by how many small, automatic, self-defeating thoughts pass through your mind unnoticed, like background noise. Now, imagine this. If those thoughts were replaced with empowering, confident, encouraging ones, how much different would your energy feel? How much more would you try? How much faster would you grow? The Earthies the power of naming the enemy. Give those thoughts a name. literally. Call them the critic, the shadow, or the inner saboteur. Why? Because when you personify them, you create distance. You remind yourself, this voice is not me. You are the thinker, not the thought. You are the observer, not the noise. And that realization is the beginning of freedom. When you recognize that voice for what it is, a collection of conditioned patterns, you stop fighting yourself and start training yourself. That's how mastery begins. In the next chapter, we'll go deeper, because recognizing negativity isn't enough. You have to replace it with something stronger.
Part 2. Rule 2. Replace the poison with power. You can't empty your mind by force. You can't stop thinking negatively just by telling yourself to. Because your brain doesn't understand don't. If I say, don't think of a blue elephant, what happens? Exactly. You see it instantly. That's how your mind works. It obeys focus, not denial. So the real question is not, how do I stop thinking negatively, but what do I replace those thoughts with? The law of mental substitution. Your mind is like a house. You can't just throw out the darkness, you must turn on the light. You can't remove the cold, you must add warmth. You can't erase negative energy, you must replace it with something higher. Every negative thought creates a vacuum that demands to be filled. If you don't fill it consciously with strength, your subconscious will refill it with fear. So replacing, not resisting, is the secret to transformation. The 3 steps of mental replacement. There's a simple, powerful method to train your mind to replace negativity with strength. It's called catch, challenge, change. 1. Catch the thought. When negativity enters your mind, pause. Don't run from it. Don't drown in it. Just notice it. Example, you think, I'll probably fail this. Catch it immediately. That's the moment awareness begins. 2. Challenge it. Ask, is this thought based on facts or fear? Has this belief ever helped me grow? What's the real evidence behind it? Most of the time, your negative thoughts collapse under questioning. They're not facts. They're just fears pretending to be facts. 3. Change it. Replace it with a statement that's believable, empowering, and forward-focused. Instead of, I'll fail this, say, I'm still learning, but I'm improving every day. Instead of, I'm not good enough, say, I'm getting stronger, and that's what matters. Instead of, nothing ever works out, say, even if this doesn't work, I'll find another way. You're not lying to yourself. You're training your mind to speak the language of growth instead of defeat. The cup of water analogy. Imagine your mind is like a glass of muddy water. You can't scoop the dirt out, but if you keep pouring in clean water, eventually the dirt overflows and disappears. That's how positive replacement works. Every time you choose a better thought, a better word, a better focus, you pour in clean water. And slowly, the mental mud clears. Clarity replaces chaos. Confidence replaces fear. Peace replaces anxiety. This isn't magic. It's mental discipline. The power of inner language. Have you ever listened to how you speak to yourself? Most people are far crueler to themselves than they would ever be to a friend. You fail once, and you say, you're so stupid. You make a mistake, and you say, you always mess things up. But what if instead, You spoke to yourself the way you'd speak to someone you love. You'd say, "It's okay, you're learning. You've been through worse, and you made it. You've got this. Try again." That's how champions talk to themselves. That's how resilience is born. You cannot expect your mind to perform like a warrior if you treat it like an enemy. Mental reprogramming, how habits of thought are built. Every thought you repeat becomes a neural path, a groove in your brain's landscape. The more you walk that path, the deeper it becomes. That's why your first reaction to challenge is often automatic negativity. Your brain has been trained that way. But here's the miracle. Neuroplasticity means your brain can change itself. Every time you replace a negative thought with a stronger one, you carve a new path. Every repetition builds the habit of positivity. At first it feels forced, even fake. But just like training a muscle, the more you practice, the stronger it becomes. Until one day, your default reaction to hardship is no longer, "I can't handle this," but "I'll find a way." That's when you know you've reprogrammed your mind. The real-life transformation story. Let me tell you a story. A man once told me, "I used to wake up every morning and immediately feel like a failure. I hadn't even left bed yet, and I already hated myself." He'd say things like, "Nothing ever works out for me. I'm not smart enough. I always ruin everything." And I told him, "Write every one of those sentences down, and next to each one, write a stronger truth." So he did. "I'm not smart enough" became, "I'm smart enough to learn." "I always ruin everything" became, "I'm learning from every mistake." "Nothing ever works out for me" became, "Things are working through me, not against me." For 30 days, he repeated those new sentences every morning and every night. At first, it felt mechanical, but around week 3, he told me, "I caught myself automatically saying something positive without thinking about it. I didn't have to try." That's the moment the mind shifts, when the new voice becomes yours. Taught replacements for everyday negativity. Here are a few examples you can practice immediately. Negative thought, empowering replacement. "I can't do this. I'll do what I can and learn the rest." "It's too hard." Hard means I'm growing. "People will judge me." Their opinions don't define my reality. "I failed." I discovered another way that doesn't work. I'm closer now. "I'm not enough." I am becoming more than I was yesterday. Every replacement is a step toward reclaiming your power. Every time you choose strength over self-pity, your identity shifts. The quiet confidence of the reprogrammed mind. When you practice this long enough, something beautiful happens. You stop reacting impulsively. You stop drowning in small frustrations. You start moving through life with calm power, not arrogance, but clarity. You start to feel grounded, even when everything around you is chaos. And that's when people begin to notice. They say, "You've changed." You smile and say, "No, I just learned to think differently." Key takeaway. You don't remove negativity by fighting it. You remove it by replacing it with something stronger, wiser, and truer. Your mind is a battlefield, but you are the commander. Don't waste energy arguing with fear. Lead your thoughts toward victory. And remember, where focus goes, energy flows. Where energy flows, life grows. Part 3. Rule 3. Control your environment, the hidden source of mental energy. You can have the strongest mindset in the world, but if you live in a toxic environment, it will slowly poison your soul.
You can't grow roses in polluted soil. You can't think clearly in constant chaos. You can't build confidence when every voice around you tears it down. That's why mastering your mind is not only about what happens inside your head, it's also about what surrounds it. Your environment is shaping your mindset every single day, silently, invisibly, and powerfully. The energy of your surroundings. Everything carries energy. Your home, your workspace, your relationships, your social media feed, all of it either charges you or drains you. You may not notice it immediately, but over time, energy compounds. The people you spend time with, the content you consume, the music you listen to, they become part of your internal dialogue. If you surround yourself with complainers, you'll start complaining. If you live in clutter, your mind becomes cluttered. If your world is filled with noise, your thoughts lose clarity. But when your surroundings are peaceful, organized, and inspiring, your mind begins to mirror that peace. The law of mental contagion. There's an invisible law at work called mental contagion. Emotions are contagious. If someone near you is anxious, you start feeling uneasy. If someone constantly blames and criticizes, you slowly start absorbing that same energy. But the reverse is also true. Peace, optimism, and discipline are equally contagious. That's why wise people guard their environment the same way warriors guard their weapons. They know their environment is either fuel or friction. The 5 voices rule. There's an old saying, you become the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Think about that for a moment. Who are your 5? Whose opinions echo in your head? Whose energy do you absorb without realizing it? If you're constantly surrounded by negativity, people who gossip, complain, or doubt, you start mirroring them even if you don't want to. But when you start spending time around people who challenge you, support you, and live with purpose, your energy shifts. You rise to their level naturally. Because energy is magnetic, and your life is a reflection of what you're surrounded by.
Choose your circle wisely. You don't need to cut everyone off, but you do need boundaries. Here's a truth many people resist. You can love someone deeply and still limit your access to their energy. You can care for a friend, but protect your peace. You can respect family while refusing to absorb their fears. Boundaries are not walls, they're filters. They don't keep people out, they keep your energy pure. Ask yourself, who makes me feel alive and encouraged after talking to them? Who leaves me feeling drained, small, or anxious? Who challenges me to think bigger? And then adjust your exposure accordingly. You don't owe anyone unlimited access to your peace of mind. The energy of space. Your physical environment matters more than you think. A cluttered room reflects a cluttered mind. A messy desk mirrors mental noise. A chaotic space becomes a silent enemy of focus. That's why successful people often emphasize minimalism, not because it's trendy, but because it's mental hygiene. Every morning, make your bed. Clean your desk. Put order into your space. It's a physical affirmation that you're in control of your world. Even small rituals like lighting a candle before you work, playing calm music, or keeping your phone out of reach can transform how your mind feels. Digital environment. The invisible cage. Let's talk about something most people ignore. Your digital environment. Every scroll, every video, every piece of content you consume is feeding your subconscious.
If your feed is filled with negativity, outrage, gossip, and comparison, you're training your brain to be anxious and restless. Your phone can be a weapon of growth or a source of destruction. So do this. Unfollow accounts that make you feel inferior. Mute chaos. Subscribe only to content that educates, uplifts, or inspires you. Be ruthless about it. You wouldn't eat trash, so stop feeding your mind with it. Remember, you can't build a peaceful life with a chaotic feed. The inner reflection of the outer world. Here's the paradox. Your environment shapes your mind, but your mind also shapes your environment. When you start healing inside, you naturally begin cleaning your space, decluttering your surroundings, changing your circle. Because your external world begins to mirror your internal order. You stop tolerating what drains you. You stop chasing distractions. You start seeking stillness, simplicity, beauty, truth. That's not arrogance. That's alignment. Your soul recognizes peace as its natural state. And when your mind and environment reflect that peace, you unlock a power that feels almost divine. The circle of influence exercise. Take a moment to draw 3 circles on paper. Inner circle. People who uplift you, challenge you, love you with honesty. Middle circle. People you like, but who often drain or distract you. Outer circle. People or influences you can minimize, mute, or step away from. Now, commit to spending 80% of your time and attention on your inner circle. That single act will transform your energy faster than any self-help book.
The serenity example. There's a reason monks live in peaceful temples, writers retreat into nature, and athletes train in controlled environments. They understand a simple truth. When the noise fades, the truth is easier to hear. Your environment is not just where you live, it's the foundation of who you become. The balancing principle. Yes, life will still bring chaos. You can't always control everything around you. But even in the noisiest places, you can create small islands of calm. A morning routine, a quiet corner, a peaceful playlist. The key isn't isolation, it's intention. It's choosing to design your surroundings to serve your mind, not sabotage it. Because a mind surrounded by chaos will always be at war. But a mind surrounded by harmony becomes unstoppable. The Mentor's Challenge. This week, I want you to audit your environment like your life depends on it, because it does. Who drains your peace the most? What digital content pollutes your thoughts? What part of your home reflects disorder or delay? Fix one thing each day. Delete, clean, distance, organize, upgrade. By the end of 7 days, you'll feel the shift, not just mentally, but emotionally and physically. You'll breathe easier, think clearer, and feel lighter. That's not coincidence. That's energy responding to order. That's your life aligning with your purpose. Key takeaway. You can't control every storm, but you can build a shelter strong enough to protect your peace. Your environment is not just background, it's blueprint. Build it with care, guard it with wisdom, live within it with intention. Surround yourself with people, places, and energies that remind you who you're becoming, not who you were. Part 4. Rule 4. Train your inner voice, the language of champions. If your environment is your battlefield, then your inner voice is your greatest weapon. It can either lead you to victory or sabotage you from within. Most people never realize this truth. The most powerful conversation you'll ever have in your life is the one you have with yourself every single day. That voice inside your mind, the one that comments, judges, doubts, or dreams, it's shaping your reality. Every word you repeat internally becomes a seed, and every seed, given enough time, becomes your life. The reality-defining voice. Your thoughts create your emotions. Your emotions drive your actions. Your actions shape your destiny. But where do all those thoughts come from? From the language you use in your mind. If your inner dialogue is full of phrases like, "I can't do this," "I'm not good enough," "It's too late for me," then your brain starts believing that narrative and your behavior follows. But when your internal language shifts to, "I can figure this out," "I'm learning and improving," "This challenge is making me stronger," everything changes. You don't need a new life. You need a new language.
The inner critic versus the inner coach. Inside every human being lives two voices. The inner critic, the voice of fear, doubt, and limitation. It says, "You're not enough. Why bother? People will judge you." The inner coach, the voice of truth, strength, and resilience. It whispers, "You can handle this. One step at a time. You've got this." The problem is, most people listen to the critic more than the coach. But here's the secret. Both voices are you. The one that wins is the one you feed. The reframe technique. When your inner critic starts shouting, don't fight it, reframe it. Example, "I always mess things up. I'm still learning how to do this better. This is impossible. This is difficult, but I'll find a way. I failed. I discovered one way that doesn't work." This isn't toxic positivity, it's mental reprogramming. You're training your brain to think in solutions, not limitations. Your brain believes what you tell it repeatedly, so speak with intention. The power of self-talk loops. Here's something neuroscience has proven. The more often you think a certain thought, the stronger the neural pathway becomes. That means every time you repeat a fear, you reinforce it. Every time you repeat courage, you strengthen it. This is called neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to rewire itself through repetition. So if you spend years saying, "I'm not good enough," your brain makes that your default pattern. But when you start saying, "I can improve," you literally reshape your brain. Every word becomes a weight you lift. Every repetition builds your mental muscle. The mirror exercise, used by elite athletes. Top performers, from Olympians to Navy SEALs, often use this powerful exercise to command their inner voice. Here's how you do it. Stand in front of a mirror. Look yourself directly in the eyes. Say out loud, "I am strong. I am focused. I can handle anything that comes my way." At first it feels awkward, even fake. But with time, your body starts believing it, because the subconscious can't distinguish between imagination and reality. When you speak strength, you become strength. Watch your language, literally. Language is not neutral. Words are either weapons or medicine. Every "I can't" weakens you. Every "I will" builds you. Even small changes matter. Change "I have to" "I get to." Change "I'm nervous" to I'm excited. Change I'm overwhelmed to I'm challenged. That one shift transforms pressure into possibility. You're not lying to yourself. You're leading yourself. The morning programming ritual. Every morning, before touching your phone, program your inner voice. Here's a 2-minute ritual that recenters your mental power. Breathe. 10 slow, deep breaths. Speak. Say 3 affirmations. I am disciplined. I am becoming who I'm meant to be. Today, I will act with purpose. Visualize. Imagine yourself completing the most important task of the day successfully. Smile, even slightly, to lock in positive emotion. Do this for 30 days straight. You'll be shocked how your energy, confidence, and clarity transform.
The power of awareness. You can't change your inner voice if you don't hear it. So the first step is awareness. Start noticing. What's the tone of your inner voice when you make a mistake? What words do you use when you're tired or afraid? How often do you criticize yourself versus encourage yourself? Awareness is 50% of the battle. Once you hear the critic, you can train the coach. The voice of identity. Your inner voice doesn't just reflect what you think. It shapes who you believe you are. When you say, I'm lazy, you're reinforcing identity. When you say, I'm becoming more disciplined, you're redefining identity. That's why affirmations work best when they're identity-based. I am the kind of person who follows through. I am the kind of person who finishes what I start. I am the kind of person who doesn't quit when it's hard. Identity drives behavior, not willpower. When your inner voice supports your identity, action becomes effortless. The mental reset formula for when you spiral. Even the strongest minds have bad days. You'll still catch yourself overthinking, doubting, or getting stuck in negative loops. Here's a quick 3-step reset. Catch it, pause, and notice. Okay, I'm spiraling. My thoughts are negative. Interrupt it. Change your physical state. Stand up, stretch, drink water, breathe deeply. Replace it. Say out loud a phrase like, I'm back, let's move forward. This simple pattern breaks the emotional loop and reboots your mind within seconds. Champions speak to themselves. Champions don't silence fear. They speak louder than it. When they fail, they say, good, now I know what to fix. When they feel pain, they say, this means I'm growing. When they're tired, they say, one more rep, one more step. That's not arrogance. It's mental discipline. They've trained their inner voice to command, not complain. Because they understand, if your mind doesn't obey you, your life never will. The Mentor's Challenge. For the next 7 days, write down every negative thought you catch yourself thinking and reframe it immediately. Example, I can't do this. Your reframing is, I can learn this. I'm too late. Your reframing is, it's not too late to start. I failed. Your reframing is, I'm improving through this. Watch what happens when your inner vocabulary changes, your emotions shift, your energy rises, your confidence builds. By the end of the week, you won't just think differently, you'll feel different. Key takeaway. You are not your thoughts. You are the one who chooses them.
Your inner voice is your lifelong companion. Train it to be your greatest ally, not your silent enemy. Speak to yourself like you would to someone you love, because your mind believes every word you say.
Part 5, Rule 5. Build the discipline system. How to win when motivation fails. There will come a day, maybe soon, when you won't feel like doing it. You'll be tired, bored, frustrated. The excitement will fade. The goal will feel far away. That's the day that separates the ordinary from the unstoppable. Because the truth is brutal, but simple. Motivation gets you started. Discipline keeps you going. Everyone feels motivated at the beginning, but only the disciplined finish the race. The illusion of motivation. Motivation is emotional. It rises and falls like the tide. You can't rely on it. If your entire plan depends on feeling ready, you've already lost. Because the strongest people in the world don't wait for motivation. They create momentum. They act whether they feel like it or not. They move forward because it's who they are, not because it's what they feel. The discipline paradox. People think discipline means restriction, giving up fun, freedom, and comfort. But here's the truth. Discipline doesn't take your freedom. It creates it. When you're disciplined, you're not a slave to your emotions. You're not controlled by distraction. You're not wasting energy on regret. Discipline builds self-respect, and self-respect builds peace. You stop being at war with yourself. You stop bargaining with excuses. You start trusting your own word. That's not punishment. That's power. Systems are greater than willpower. Willpower is like a battery. It runs out. But systems? They run even when you don't feel like it. If you want to be truly unstoppable, stop relying on trying harder. Instead, build systems that make success automatic. Ask yourself, how can I make the right action easier? How can I make the wrong action harder? Example, if you want to work out in the morning, prepare your clothes the night before. If you want to eat healthier, remove junk food from your home. If you want to study, block social media during your focus hours. Discipline thrives on design, not drama. You don't need more motivation. You need fewer decisions. The habit loop formula. All habits, good or bad, follow one powerful pattern. Cue, the trigger that starts the behavior. Routine, the behavior itself. Reward, the satisfaction that reinforces it. To change your life, you don't have to fight your habits. Just reprogram the loop. Example, cue, you wake up. Routine, instead of checking your phone, drink a glass of water. Reward, feel refreshed, clear-headed, in control. Do that enough times and it becomes automatic. That's how discipline becomes effortless, not through force, but through structure. The 2-minute rule. When you feel resistance, start small. The hardest part of anything is simply starting. So promise yourself this. I'll just do it for 2 minutes. 2 minutes of reading. 2 minutes of stretching. 2 minutes of cleaning. Because once you start, momentum takes over. You don't need to do everything. You just need to begin. Small beginnings destroy big excuses.
The discipline mindset. True discipline is not about perfection. It's about consistency. You'll have off days, You'll make mistakes. You'll fail sometimes. That's okay. The key is simple. Never miss twice. Miss one workout? Fine. Miss two? That's how habits die. Slip up once? You're human. Quit completely? You're surrendering your identity. Discipline isn't about never falling. It's about never staying down. The morning battle. The first 30 minutes of your day define your mental tone. That's when you win or lose the battle of focus. Every morning, you have two choices. Scroll mindlessly, flood your brain with noise, and surrender your attention. Or rise intentionally, breathe deeply, move your body, and command your energy. That single decision shapes your discipline for the entire day. Your phone can wait. Your purpose cannot. Energy follows structure. You don't need to wake up at 4 a.m. like some productivity gurus preach. You just need structure, a rhythm that supports your mission. Ask yourself, when am I most focused? When does my energy peak? What three things, if done daily, would move my life forward? Then design your schedule around you, not around someone else's routine. Discipline isn't about copying habits, it's about crafting systems that fit your truth. Emotional discipline, the hidden layer. Most people think discipline is about doing, but true discipline starts with feeling. It's the ability to act even when emotions rebel, to stay calm when provoked, to choose logic when triggered. That's emotional mastery, the highest form of discipline. You can't control every emotion that rises, but you can control the response you give it. And that's where freedom begins. Freedom is not the absence of emotion. It's the ability to act despite it. The discipline identity. Let's go deeper. If you see yourself as someone trying to be disciplined, you'll always struggle. But when you decide, I am a disciplined person, everything changes. Because identity drives behavior, and behavior reinforces identity. Start telling yourself, I am the kind of person who does what needs to be done, no matter how I feel. That single sentence has built empires, careers, and champions. The 3D rule of daily discipline. Decide what truly matters. Focus on 1 or 2 goals, not 10. Design your environment to make success simple. Remove friction, build structure. Do it every day, no matter how small the step. Because greatness is not built in grand gestures, it's built in daily decisions. The warrior's example. Think of a soldier in training. They don't wake up at dawn because it's easy. They do it because it builds strength, obedience, and clarity. Each push-up, each repetition, each early morning run isn't just physical, it's mental armor. That's what you're building with discipline. Armor against chaos, fatigue, and doubt. Every act of discipline whispers to your mind, I am in control. And that whisper grows into unshakable confidence. The Mentor's Challenge. For the next 7 days, pick one area where you'll practice pure discipline. No excuses, no negotiations. Examples. Wake up at the same time every day. Exercise for 20 minutes. Write or read for 30 minutes. Avoid your phone for the first hour of your morning. Track it. Measure it. You'll notice something magical. It's not just your habits improving, it's your self-respect. Because every time you keep a promise to yourself, you rebuild trust with your soul. Key takeaway. Motivation fades. Feelings change. Circumstances shift. But discipline endures. You don't rise to your goals, you fall to your systems. So build systems that never fail, even when you do. Discipline is remembering what you want and acting on it even when you don't feel like it. Part 6, Rule 6, Embrace pain and pressure, turning struggle into strength. Every person who ever became extraordinary, every leader, champion, artist, or warrior has one thing in common. They stopped avoiding pain. They stopped running from difficulty, rejection, and discomfort and started training with it. Because the truth is simple but brutal. Pain is not your enemy. Pain is your teacher. It's not here to destroy you, it's here to shape you. The hidden purpose of pain. You don't grow when things are easy. You grow when things stretch you, when life throws you into moments that test who you are and what you believe. Pain pushes you toward truth. It strips away the lies, the ego, the illusions. When everything goes wrong, when plans fail, when people betray you, when you lose what you thought you needed, that's when life starts teaching you what actually matters. And that's where strength is born. The transformation zone. Pain is not punishment, it's transformation. It's the moment when the old version of you begins to dissolve, making space for the new one. Think of a muscle in the gym. It grows not when you rest, but when you tear it slightly and let it rebuild stronger. The same applies to your mind and character. Every challenge that breaks you down, if faced consciously, becomes a rebuilding process for something stronger. You're not breaking, you're forging. G. Pressure creates diamonds. Pressure doesn't change your worth, it reveals it. Without pressure, coal stays coal. With pressure, it becomes a diamond. The same force that destroys one person can refine another, depending on how they interpret it. Some collapse under pressure. Others use it to sharpen their focus, test their limits, and rise higher. Pressure is the universe asking, do you really want this? And your answer is not words, it's action. The pain reframe principle. When something hurts, mentally, emotionally, or physically, don't just react, reframe it. Ask better questions. Instead of, why is this happening to me? Ask, what is this trying to teach me? What part of me needs to grow to handle this better? That shift transforms pain into data, feedback from life itself. And when you start using pain as information, not suffering, you become unstoppable.
The myth of a smooth life. We live in a world obsessed with comfort. Everyone wants things easy, instant, painless. But comfort doesn't create warriors. It creates weakness. Ease is seductive. It feels good for a while, but it slowly drains your power. Comfort zones are beautiful prisons, soft, safe, and silent killers of potential. The longer you stay in one, the more your inner fire fades. Because life's rewards don't belong to the comfortable, they belong to the courageous. Pain versus suffering. Here's a truth that changes everything. Pain is inevitable. Suffering is optional. Pain is what happens, the external event. Suffering is what your mind adds to it, the story, the resistance, the why me. You can't always control pain, but you can choose how to carry it. Two people can experience the same setback. One breaks, the other builds. The difference is not the pain, it's the perspective. The 3 types of pain you must master. The pain of discipline, doing what's hard today for a better tomorrow. The pain of growth, facing uncomfortable truths, feedback, and failures.
The pain of loss, letting go of people, habits, and versions of yourself that no longer serve you. Each one feels like breaking, but each one builds you into something greater. Avoid them, and you stay soft. Embrace them, and you evolve. The art of peaceful endurance. True strength is not aggression, it's endurance. It's the calm in the storm, the stillness in chaos, the quiet confidence that says, I can carry this. I've carried worse. When life hits you, don't rush to escape it. Breathe, observe, adapt. Because pain is temporary, but the strength you gain from enduring it lasts forever. The warrior's mind in struggle. Imagine a samurai in battle. He doesn't panic when the fight begins. He's trained for it. His breathing slows. His vision sharpens. Pain doesn't shock him. It focuses him. That's the mindset of mastery. You don't pray for an easy path. You pray for the strength to walk the hard one with grace. The balance between grit and grace. Yes, you need grit, the toughness to keep going, but you also need grace, the wisdom to rest, recover, and not self-destruct. Grit without grace becomes burnout. Grace without grit becomes laziness. True mastery lies in the dance between both. Know when to push and when to breathe. Know when to fight and when to let go. Emotional pain is the most invisible and often the most powerful. Heartbreak, rejection, betrayal, loss, these can either harden you or open you. Don't let pain close your heart. Let it deepen it. The most compassionate souls are not the ones who have lived easy lives. They're the ones who have suffered deeply and refused to become bitter. They turned their wounds into wisdom, their tears into empathy, their scars into light for others.
The 3-step pain mastery method. Face it. Stop running. Name the pain. Look it in the eye. This hurts, and that's okay. Feel it. Don't suppress it. Let it move through you. Breathe into it. Pain that's felt fully doesn't stay forever. Forge it. Turn it into strength. Ask, what can I build from this? How can this make me wiser, tougher, clearer? Pain is the raw material. Your response is the craftsmanship. The fire story. A blacksmith heats metal in a furnace until it glows red, almost melting. Then he hammers it over and over, shaping it into a sword. If the metal could speak, it would scream, "Stop! It hurts!" But if the fire stopped, the sword would never form. That's life. Every trial, every setback, every heartbreak is hammer and fire, forging your spirit into steel. You're not being punished. You're being prepared. The Mentor's Challenge. This week, look at one area in your life where pain keeps showing up, physically, emotionally, or situationally. Then, instead of resisting it, study it. Ask, what is this pain trying to teach me? What weakness is it exposing? What strength could I build from it? And then, take one action that turns that pain into purpose. Write, train, speak, heal, move. You'll begin to see that the pain was never the enemy. It was the invitation. Key takeaway. Pain is not here to break you. It's here to build you. It's the fire that reveals who you are when everything else is stripped away. Do not pray for lighter burdens.
pray for a stronger back. Because once you stop fearing pain, nothing can control you anymore. You become untouchable, calm in chaos, fierce in battle, alive in struggle. You become a mental warrior. Part 7. Rule 7. Learn to detach from negativity. There's one mental skill that separates those who stay calm under chaos from those who collapse under pressure: the ability to detach. Detachment doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop bleeding for everything that happens around you. You stop letting every negative comment, every small failure, every unfair situation rent space in your mind. In simple words, you stop being controlled by things you can't control. The storm and the mountain. Picture this. A storm rolls across the mountain. Thunder, lightning, chaos. The mountain doesn't fight it. It doesn't shout, "Why is this happening to me?" It just stands there, unmoved, unbothered, unbroken. The storm passes. The mountain remains. That's detachment. That's emotional mastery. Life will always throw storms your way: rejection, loss, betrayal, confusion. But if you react to every storm, you'll never build stability. If every word can hurt you, if every failure defines you, if every opinion shakes you, you're giving away your peace for free. You need to become the mountain.
What detachment really means? Detachment doesn't mean becoming cold or distant. It means staying centered in your own energy, no matter what happens around you. It means you feel emotions, but you don't become them. You listen to opinions, but you don't absorb them. You experience failure, but you don't identify with it. You face chaos, but you stay rooted in clarity. You stop saying, "This happened to me," and start saying, "This happened for me, to teach, strengthen, and guide me." That small shift changes everything, because pain only controls you when you resist it. When you learn to observe it, to learn from it, to accept it, it loses power over you. The practice of emotional distance. Here's a simple but powerful habit. When something triggers you, a person, a situation, a mistake, pause. Take one deep breath, and then silently say to yourself, "This is not me. This is just a moment." That phrase is magic. It creates a space, a gap between stimulus and response. And in that space, you gain choice. Most people live without that space. Something happens, they react. Someone insults them, they explode. They fail once, they give up. No space, no awareness, just reaction. But when you pause, you step back into control. You become the watcher of the storm, not the victim of it. The rule of internal versus external. There's a timeless principle that every mentally strong person lives by. Focus on what you can control. Let go of what you can't. You can't control what people say about you. You can't control the weather, the economy, or the past. You can't control the mistakes others make. But you can control how you think, how you respond, how you show up every day. That's the key. The most peaceful people are not those with perfect lives. They're those who've learned to let go of everything they can't control. They don't fight every battle. They don't chase every argument. They don't hold on to resentment like a badge of honor. They simply release and move forward. The art of letting go. Letting go is not weakness, it's wisdom.
Weak people cling to things that destroy them: bitterness, pride, regret. Strong people know when to release what no longer serves them. Here's the truth. You cannot grow if your hands are full of the past. You can't build a new life while still rehearsing old pain. You can't create peace while feeding your mind with comparison and envy. You can't be light while carrying the weight of what's already gone. You must let it go, not because they deserve peace, but because you do. Letting go doesn't erase the lesson, it just stops the suffering. The detachment mantra. Try this simple mantra every morning before you start your day. Today, I release what I can't control. I choose peace over reaction. I choose growth over drama. I choose clarity over chaos. Repeat it until it becomes your nature. And one day, you'll wake up and realize the things that once triggered you don't even move you anymore. The people who once drained your energy can no longer reach you. You've become calm in the middle of the storm. That's when you know you've become the mountain.
Summary. Rule 7. Detach from negativity. You can't control everything. Focus on what you can. Observe your emotions instead of being ruled by them. Let go of what no longer serves your peace. React less, reflect more. Remember, detachment is power. Part 8. Rule 8. Build an inner fortress of gratitude and purpose. You've learned how to observe your thoughts, control your emotions, and protect your peace. But now comes the final rule, the one that ties everything together. Because it's not enough to remove negativity. You must replace it with something stronger, something unshakable. And that something is gratitude and purpose. Together, they form the foundation of your mental fortress, the two pillars that make your mind unbreakable, your heart alive, and your spirit unstoppable. The inner fortress. Imagine your mind as a fortress. Every day, life sends arrows: stress, failure, disappointment, comparison. Most people go through life with open gates. Every negative comment, every mistake, every fear enters freely, attacking their peace from within. But those who master their minds, they build walls made of gratitude and purpose. And those walls turn pain into wisdom, setbacks into strength, and chaos into calm. That's the fortress you must build, not outside you, but inside. Gratitude. The shield against darkness. Gratitude isn't just saying thank you. It's a way of seeing the world. It's a mental habit that rewires your brain to focus on abundance instead of lack. When you're grateful, your mind shifts from "I don't have enough" to "I already have what I need to begin." And that single shift destroys anxiety, jealousy, and self-pity. Because gratitude and negativity cannot coexist. When one speaks, the other falls silent. The science of gratitude. Your brain can't focus on two emotional states at once. If you focus on appreciation, you can't simultaneously feel resentment. If you focus on what's working, you can't obsess over what's broken. That's why gratitude isn't spiritual fluff. It's psychological power. It literally changes your focus, your chemistry, and your energy. So every morning, before you touch your phone, ask yourself, what are 3 things I can be grateful for right now, no matter how small? And mean it. Grateful for the air you breathe, grateful for the people who love you, grateful for the lessons you've learned, even the painful ones. Because when you live in gratitude, you stop chasing peace. You become peace. Purpose, the sword of direction. If gratitude keeps you grounded, purpose keeps you moving.
It gives meaning to your struggle and direction to your growth. Without purpose, life feels random. You wake up, work, scroll, sleep, repeat. But with purpose, even your pain has meaning. When you have a why, every how becomes easier. When you know what you're fighting for, every obstacle becomes fuel. When you know what you're building toward, every morning becomes a mission.
The story of two warriors. There's a story I love about two warriors sent on a long, brutal mission. One fights because he was ordered to. The other fights because he's protecting his family back home. Both face exhaustion, danger, and fear. But one gives up when it gets hard. The other keeps going because his purpose is stronger than his pain. That's life. Everyone faces difficulty, but not everyone has a reason powerful enough to keep moving. Purpose is not found, it's built. It grows from your values, your experiences, your curiosity, your love. It's the thing that makes your struggle worth it. How to find or build your purpose. You don't need to know your entire destiny today. Start simple. Ask yourself, what gives me energy instead of draining it? What kind of person do I want to become? How can I use what I know to help others? What do I want my life to stand for? Your purpose doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to be personal. It's the compass that keeps you centered when life feels chaotic. And here's the truth. Once you have both gratitude and purpose, your mind becomes unstoppable because you no longer live in reaction, you live in creation. The inner transformation. When you reach this level of awareness, everything changes. You stop waiting for peace to appear. You create it inside yourself. You stop asking, why me, and start asking, what is this teaching me? You stop chasing happiness in the future and start building it in the present. Your mind becomes a temple, guarded by gratitude, fueled by purpose, protected by discipline, and filled with quiet strength. You become the kind of person whose calm energy influences the whole room, not because your life is easy, but because your mind is steady. That's mental mastery. That's true freedom. Conclusion. The new you. Look at how far you've come. You've learned to recognize the enemy, your negative thoughts, to replace the poison with power, to rewrite your inner dialogue, to use pain as fuel for growth, to master your emotions, not suppress them, to control your focus, not your fears, to detach from negativity, and finally, to build your inner fortress with gratitude and purpose. This is not a one-time transformation. It's a lifelong practice, a daily act of mental strength. Some days you'll slip, you'll feel weak, you'll forget your own wisdom. That's okay, because mastery isn't perfection. It's returning faster every time you fall. Every morning, your mind wakes up blank, waiting for your instructions. So give it the right ones. Feed it hope. Feed it focus. Feed it courage. Feed it purpose. Because at the end of the day, the quality of your thoughts is the quality of your life. Final words. Remember this. Your mind is your kingdom. Your thoughts are your soldiers. Your emotions are your weather. And you are the ruler. Train them, guide them, and protect them well. Because once you master your mind, no challenge can ever defeat you again. You become calm, you become strong, you become free. And that, my friend, is how you destroy negativity and become the master of your own mind.
If this video inspired you or helped you learn something new, please take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe
to the motivation to study English for 30 minutes every day. Your support is the energy that keeps us creating better and more meaningful videos every single day.